What's up, guys? It's Sunday morning. It's like 35 degrees outside. I may or may not be tad hungover from watching Supercross last night with the boys. But anyways, I'm headed to Oak Hill to ride with some of my buddies. And today I'm going to do something I've been wanting to do for a while. I'm going to take my new 450 here and my YZ250 two-stroke. I'm going to ride some motos on both of them and take some lap times and that kind of stuff. Try to get some footage if I can and do a little comparison test between the two. So I'm going to get loaded up and head on out there, keep drinking this coffee, try to get feeling a little more hyped up. So I'm back in the shop after going out to Oak Hill and riding 252 stroke and modern day 450. So I rode a little bit, did some motos. I went and grabbed a GoPro so I could get some more footage because unfortunately I don't have anyone to just sit there and film me. So the footage is going to be some helmet cam mixed in with a little bit of really far away footage. But yeah, so I ran the GoPro and then I ran my little Lap King device also on my helmet. I got some lap times on this bike the first time I went out. Then I went out, got some lap times on the 252 stroke. Just to see a little comparison. It's something I've been wanting to do for quite a while now. I kind of grew up, well, I raced a lot in the era of like 03 to 05, and that is really when four strokes were coming on hard. And there were still companies that didn't make them yet. You had guys on Suzuki and Kawasaki stuck on two strokes, and Honda and Yamaha had four strokes. And at the local level, they were really dominating. I saw, really fast kids get beat by people maybe a little bit under their level that were just on 450s. So I've always thought this would be an interesting comparison. Yeah, maybe I'm, 13 years late on doing it because obviously everyone's gone to 450s. But there's still a ton of people that love 252 strokes or two strokes in general. I'm one of them. You go to the tracks, the amount of two strokes is just growing and growing actually, which I think is awesome. But yeah, so I just wanted to do a comparison. So that's what today was all about. ideally for this test, I would like it if I had a brand new 450 and maybe a brand new KTM or Husky 252 stroke, just because they've evolved a lot more than the Yamahas. But I've got what I've got. So I used my 450, which is a 2016 CRF450, and then my 252 stroke, which is a 03 YZ250. If you know anything about Yamaha two-strokes, you know that the steel frames were pretty good. You hear a lot of Chad Reed and those guys that were on the factory teams talking about how much more they liked them than the aluminum frames. If I ride them back to back, I can't really tell the difference, but I'm not a factory rider. So. Yeah, so those are the bikes I rode today. One thing I noticed when I was doing the laps is, you know, I was almost 2 seconds a lap faster on the 450, and when I was riding it, putting down those laps, I felt just kind of smooth, and I wasn't really having to ride that hard. I just feel really comfortable on these. They got so much power and stuff, and I weigh a lot. So, you know, it pulls me around good, and I can just kind of ride smooth but still carry a good pace. On the 252 stroke, when I put down that lap time, which was actually a little bit slower, I felt like I was, you know, holding it wide open as much as I could and having to ride a lot more aggressive, and I was still a little bit slower. But this little comparison isn't all about lap times. It's kind of about what's the most fun to ride also. And that two-stroke is a whole lot of fun. And maybe I'm not the best two-stroke rider. There may be someone else that could go faster on one, obviously. But yeah, so for me, I was a little faster on the 450, but I had a blast on the two-stroke. If I was gonna go do a race today, and it was just an open class, I'm taking the 450. But if I was gonna just go ride with my friends and, you know, just put down some laps and goof around, I might take the two-stroke because it's a whole lot of fun just to hear that thing scream. You can just be really aggressive on them. So, you know, it's a toss-up for me. I love both of these bikes. I think it's a win-win either way. I know there's people that hate four-strokes or people that don't like two-strokes as much. I like them all. I mean, I've always been a two-stroke guy. I've always had a bunch of two-strokes. You know, before I got this bike, I remembered when I had my old 450s when I was younger. I had a 07 Honda 450, and that thing was just a tank, and it was so fast. The old carbureted bikes, they hit so hard that I couldn't ride it that well, and I couldn't really control it at my skill level. I had fun on it, but it was just almost scary for me to ride it. So I've always thought, like, you know, 450s are just kind of dangerous. I don't really need all that power. I'm gonna stick to a 252 stroke. So I've been riding two strokes for a long time, but I got this 450, and this is the first fuel injected 450 I've ever had, and the difference in this and the old ones is insane. The power is so smooth and usable that I don't feel sketchy on this at all. If anything, I actually feel a little more sketchy on the two-stroke because I ride it so much harder. But I do see how 450s can be more dangerous to someone who's maybe a little less experienced of a rider, that if you're on a two-stroke and you have to come out of a corner and hit a big jump, someone who's not that experienced is gonna struggle to do that on a two-stroke, and maybe they won't hit that jump. But there can be a 100-foot tabletop out of a turn, and as long as you can twist the throttle on a 450, you can come out of the corner and hit that sucker. And so it makes me a little nervous about just kind of like maybe new riders going out there on a 450. I don't really think that's the best thing. I think people should start on smaller bikes, 250Fs, 252 strokes, maybe even a 125. But for me, I actually feel more comfortable on the 450 and feel like I'm safer because I can carry a pace without just like pushing really hard. That being said, I still love my two-stroke. I'll always have two strokes. I think they're a blast to ride. Certain tracks, maybe I would be faster on the two-stroke. I don't know. So that's kind of what I think about a 454 stroke versus a 252 stroke. If you're in the market for a new bike and you're debating between the two, I hope maybe this will help you a little bit. Or maybe if you're just interested, maybe get a little information. Also, I'm kind of interested to hear what everybody else thinks. You know, do you like a 252 stroke or a 450? What do you feel more comfortable on? Am I crazy for, you know, my thoughts? Let me know.